It only took one headline to throw people into a frenzy. After Keith Urban's divorce from Nicole Kidman was finalized in January, the rumor mill started spinning faster than ever, and suddenly everyone was asking the same thing. Did Keith Urban really let things get that serious with Karley Scott Collins during his High and Alive tour? Or did the internet take one professional connection and blow it into something way bigger than it ever was? That is why this kind of story travels so fast. The second people hear words like moved in, the whole thing stops sounding like harmless gossip. It starts sounding private, heavy, like the public just stumbled onto something they were never supposed to know yet. And once a rumor hits that tone, people do not pause and fact-check. They react. They pick a side. They start filling in the blanks on their own. What gave this rumor so much traction was not proof. It was the setup. Karley Scott Collins, a Sony Music Nashville artist who made her Grand Ole Opry debut in 2024, was already linked to Keith Urban in a visible way because she had been in his orbit professionally during the tour, and that alone gave people enough to start connecting dots that may not have belonged together. This follows a familiar pattern. First it was Maggie Baugh, now Karley Scott Collins. That is usually all it takes online. One real connection, then 10 fake conclusions built on top of it. Before we go any further, drop your take in the comments. When stories like this blow up, do you think people actually care what is true? Or do they just latch onto the messiest version first? Because this whole situation says a lot about how celebrity rumors work now.
Has moved in with a new girlfriend. It is too soon, and I'm not going to say she's too young, but as they say, love is love. But what would be the age difference there roughly? 25 years?
Once those two names started showing up together, the internet did what it always does. It skipped right past the normal stage. Nobody wanted to sit with "they worked together" or "they crossed paths." That was too boring. The story jumped almost immediately into much messier territory where people were talking like they were watching the start of some hidden relationship story play out in real time. And that is the trick with gossip like this. It does not need much to get moving. One suggestive post turns into reposts. Reposts turn into theories. Then the theories start sounding like facts because so many people are repeating them at once. The part that really supercharged it was the moved-in angle. That is what changed the whole tone. Because once those words get attached to a rumor, it stops sounding light. It sounds serious, fast, personal. Like whatever people think is going on has already crossed into a whole different level behind the scenes. That is why people got hooked so quickly. Moved in makes it feel like there is already a secret chapter happening off camera, and now the public is catching up late. Whether that is true or not almost becomes secondary in the moment. The wording does the work. It creates the shock before anyone even knows if there is anything real underneath it. And that is where these stories get dangerous. The more people talk about a rumor, the more solid it starts to feel, even when nobody has shown anything concrete. This is how parasocial relationships with celebrities can warp judgment. After a while, viewers stop hearing it as a claim and start treating it like an event that definitely happened. That is how attention turns into fake certainty. It is not proof that convinces people. It is volume. If enough accounts are repeating the same thing, the public starts thinking there must be fire somewhere, even if all they're actually seeing is smoke, created by everyone reacting at once. That is how a simple rumor becomes a full storyline.
But following his divorce with Nicole Kidman, Nicole is clearly dominating the PR war. So one must ask if this is just self-preservation, like trying to distance herself from Keith Urban.
Timing made it worse too. These stories always hit harder when people already feel like a celebrity's personal life might be in some kind of shaky or emotional moment. That changes how the audience reads everything. Suddenly, harmless interactions do not look harmless anymore. A normal public link starts feeling loaded. A basic connection turns into evidence because people are already in the mood to believe something bigger is happening. And once the mood is there, it does not take much. One phrase, one post, one dramatic headline, and people are off running with it. A big reason viewers get sucked in is because rumors like this sell a very specific feeling. They make people think they are watching a private situation crack open in public. That is what keeps them glued. It is not always the details. Sometimes it is just the tension, the possibility, the sense that maybe, just maybe, the next update is going to confirm something huge. That is why even thin rumors can pull so much attention. People are not only reacting to what they know, they are reacting to what they hope this might turn into. And that emotional what if can be stronger than facts. But this is the part people tend to ignore when they get caught up in it. Public proximity does not equal romance. Working together does not mean something personal is happening. Being in the same space does not suddenly mean two people are building a life together in private. Those are giant leaps, but online, giant leaps are normal. In fact, they are rewarded. The most dramatic version is almost always the one that spreads first because it hits harder and gets people talking faster. A calm explanation cannot compete with a headline that sounds like a secret exploded. Then the rumor starts growing its own legs. People stop just repeating it and start adding to it. They begin inventing motives, imagined timelines, hidden meanings, even possible fallout. They talk like they know what happened behind closed doors when really they are working with assumptions piled on assumptions. That is what makes celebrity speculation so hard to shut down once it gets moving. It is no longer one rumor. It becomes a whole public story that everybody wants to participate in. And the more people add their own spin, the bigger it feels. The wild part is that a lack of proof does not always slow anything down. Sometimes it does the opposite. No evidence becomes, they are hiding it. No public comment becomes, that says everything. Even a normal explanation can get twisted into damage control. That is how rumor culture traps people. Instead of seeing the gaps in the story as warning signs, they start treating those gaps like clues. And once that happens, the rumor becomes weirdly hard to kill because now the mystery itself is part of the appeal. People are not looking for a clean answer anymore. They are chasing the rush.
She adds a cry laughing emoji while she sets the record straight, writing, "Y'all, this is absolutely ridiculous and untrue."
So by the time this rumor really peaked, viewers were already all in. The moved-in claim had become the hook, and the internet was treating it like everyone was just waiting for one final moment that would either confirm the whole thing or destroy it completely. That is what made it so sticky. It felt like it had to be building towards something. People wanted the reveal. They wanted the answer. They wanted to know if this was actually a real private situation slipping out or just another online spiral that got out of control because the headline was too juicy to ignore. Then the answer finally came, and it changed the whole story. After all the buzz, all the reposts, and all the increasingly dramatic speculation, Karley Scott Collins responded publicly and shut it down. She made it clear the dating talk and the moved in together rumor were not true, calling the claims absolutely ridiculous and untrue. That was the clearest response attached to the entire situation. Not a vague line, not a maybe, a direct denial. Which means the loudest part of this whole story was never the truth. It was the rumor that got there first. And that may be the real lesson here. Online, the most dramatic version almost always wins the first round, even when the person at the center says it is false. If you think Karley's response should have ended this instantly, or if you think people will keep pushing the story anyway, drop your take below and subscribe for more celebrity breakdowns.